Yeah, this is a kind of a second video. I was just going to say that one thing that I missed on Webster Tarpley is that I don't know if I said it, but anyway, he says nationalize the banks. I say nationalize everything. We can nationalize the oil. We can nationalize, well, actually the biggest one I would say right now, even more important, well, it's equally important as the banks, is the real estate. So in other words, what you do is you nationalize all the real estate, and basically from the things I've read, apparently there's as many houses in the United States as there are people. So in other words, not even just families, but people. We could literally nationalize all real estate, give each person their own house, give them the deed free and clear, no property tax, no mortgage, no rent, period. They just own the house. And then for people that don't have a house or people that are sharing a house, you do a lottery for the extra houses. So all these rich people that have 10 houses, they don't have 10 houses no more. They basically, unless they're a corrupt person that's fraud, and we take all their houses and put them in kind of like a shack or something. If they're an honest rich person, then you let them pick their best house, like the biggest one. I don't care if it's a mansion or whatever. If they're living in a castle, doesn't matter. They own it. The bank doesn't own it, they own it. So even the rich people make out with the plan that I'm talking about. But the bottom line is that every single person will own their own house. And that will be a huge benefit to the country. I mean, think about that payment being gone, and then no property tax either. So there's no payment, period. Then people will be able to go to school and get money and do all kinds of stuff. So that would solve one problem, is shelter for people. Then we nationalize, I said the oil, but energy, any type of energy, we should nationalize the production of energy. Why do you let a rich person or a rich corporation or whatever basically rape, steal, kill, go to war, push countries into wars, all this stuff for energy, when each country can nationalize their own energy and cut those people out? I mean, it makes no sense whatsoever. So you nationalize the energy also, and the farms. So the basic plan, I mean, I know Peter Joseph, he talks about, and a lot of guys, there's got to be a transition period. So the thing I like about Webster Tarpley is he's talking about the transition period. Peter Joseph is talking about kind of like a more further down period where we're really getting going. And then what Alex Jones thinks Peter Joseph is talking about this, when he utopia, well, you know what, down the road, yeah, I mean, because that's where everything's headed. It's like well, here's the thing about Webster Tarpley, here's the thing about money, and here's the thing about productive work. All that stuff is good, but each person, well, here's the thing about Keynesian economics and kind of like socialism or whatever, what Webster Tarpley leans towards a little bit, is that in his theory, you can always give somebody a job to do something. So even they could be a ditch digger, basically, in the old times. Peter Joseph goes one step further. He says, look, if we can have a machine dig in the ditch, why does a person have to do that? Aha. But in a socialist, capitalist, and other systems, you have to have each person doing some type of work, even if it's fake work, even if it's BS work. You know what I'm saying? There's a theory out there that says that you can have a social income, or just an income that everybody should get, whatever. I mean, if the minimum amount of cash you need is $20,000 per year or whatever, just to pay for food and water and da-da-da-da-da, even though I like the Webster Tarpley and Peter Joseph plan of having those systems done at the national level or worldwide, and have them automated and stuff, so each person doesn't have to worry about getting money and then getting food. They can just get the food without the money. But there is a system that some people talk about or advocate where, you get like a $20,000 a year or whatever, which is just a cash that every person gets. Every single person. No matter how old they are or whatever, you get that money. And you use that for whatever you need. Then if you want to go to work, you can make more money to get more stuff, basically, is what it is. So, that's another thing. But, it's all... the key to what Peter Joseph, Venus Project, and these other people talk about, the key aspect that they're getting at is that right now, productive work can be automated. And it's being automated very much right now today. So there's either super cheap labor or there's machines doing the work. Human beings are basically in the system where there's money and capitalism and markets and stuff, socialism, whatever. It's like something that you have to keep people working to get money, and then they have to use the money to get the stuff, the food, or whatever. But that is that's gone. It's becoming obsolete. It's unnecessary. So in other words, Peter Joseph, even though these guys actually, Webster Tarpley not so much, but Alex Jones, freaking nut. He's a nut totally. He's got it totally wrong. He thinks that Peter Joseph is the bad guy. But Peter Joseph's thing is like, hey, if nobody has to do menial, ridiculous, stupid, dangerous labor, and everybody can have at least a minimum to start out with of necessities of life, how is that bad? I mean, where is the problem in that? It's just totally ridiculous for anybody to say that there's something wrong with that. Oh, I want to get back to Webster Tarpley. Okay, this I'll just mention one thing about zeitgeist. There is a when Alex Jones brought up zeitgeist to Webster Tarpley, it's obvious that Webster Tarpley never even watched it. He didn't watch 5 minutes of it, because Webster Tarpley basically is a genius, and for him not to know that that movie was about myths. It was about a religious myth. It was about 9/11 myth. It was about the money system myth. It was about the people in control of the world myth. It was about all these myths. Okay, that was the bottom line of the whole thing. I mean, it was like reinforced over and over and over. So for him to say that the first part of the movie about religion totally didn't make any sense or didn't fit or whatever means he didn't watch it at all. I mean, he I can guarantee the guy didn't pay 1 minute of it, because he is very smart, and there's no way he could have missed the point that Peter Joseph was mentioning. And, just to, nail it down, everybody who follows a religion thinks that every other religion is totally wacko, okay? It's funny, because, if you ask somebody who is, let's say, a Muslim or Christian, what do you think of the Muslim or the Christian? Both of them will say, well, they're just wrong, they're totally wrong, and some of them will even say that they're evil, okay? I mean, they'll say, there's no way that that's right, okay? But, and then they'll have good excuses, they'll say, oh, do you know that they believe, wearing veils or, hiding their body, and then the other one will say, oh, do you know that they believe that, whatever, they have to wear magic pants, or they have to wear magic underwear, or so-and-so walked on water, so they all come up with these things that say, oh yeah, well, nobody can believe that, right? Well, somebody who just is not religious, or an atheist, just takes it one step further and says, okay, you guys agree that all these things are BS. We're just saying, yeah, the one that you believe also is BS. I mean, it's not a stretch. If you got millions of religions and millions of theories and millions of freaking mythology out there, and that's basically what Peter Joseph's first part of the movie was. He showed how Jesus, the story of Jesus, is the same mythology that they've had over and over and over with Mithra and, you know, all these other, all the way back in Egyptian, you know, gods and stuff, you know, all these, they've had the same story over and over and over again. And he showed how that, you know, if you're a Christian, you will say every one of those other things are BS. You'll say complete bogus, right? But your story is the same. So that's the point, okay? So anyway, I won't beat a dead horse. But anyway, we got 9/11, myth. I mean, the idea is that everybody believes one thing, an official story, let's say, of religion, 9/11, the money system, whatever. They believe an official story, but we know, even Alex Jones and Webster Tarpley know very well, all that stuff is a myth. That's BS. It's what we're being sold. This lies and whatever. So anyway, that's the only point I'll say is Webster Tarpley absolutely did not watch that movie, has no clue what the movie's about, and if he actually watched the other two movies, which is the Addendum, or even just the last movie, I think he should watch is Moving Forward, Zeitgeist Moving Forward. If he watches that, I guarantee you he will be 100% behind what it is, because the end goal of both of Webster Tarpley and Peter Joseph is identical, basically. The only thing is Webster Tarpley may be right. There may be a transition period that is necessary to go through some of the steps that he's talking about, was still having a national bank and all this other stuff, you know, nationalizing everything. And I think that's true too. I think I mean, obviously we can do it at a grassroots level and try to build a new society and whatever, little by little, but that'll take too long and it might not ever happen. And Peter Joseph also does not get it. I mean, he thinks that, oh, we're just going to educate, and the next thing you know, everything's going to be, you know, all good, and things are going to, you know, it's going to be, I don't even know what he thinks, to be honest with you. I mean, he's saying educate, critical mass, and then all of a sudden what? The critical mass, and then what? There's no action plan. So, in one sense, I think these two guys need to get together, really, because at least Webster Tarpley has an action plan in a transition, and then Peter Joseph can maybe explain what happens after a transition, which is more, you know, like what we all want, where we don't have to do stupid jobs for BS. Alright, that should be it for now.